When we asked the TelecomTV Open RAN Summit audience last year about the most important areas of focus for the community during the next 12 months, the development of systems integration models and blueprints attracted a lot of votes, behind only total cost of ownership and security measures. So to get an update on SI developments, I'm talking today with Kristian Toivo, Executive Director at the Telecom Infra Project, or TIP, which has been doing a lot of work in this area in recent years. So Kristian, good to talk with you again. Thanks very much for joining us. So is systems integration the biggest challenge for network operators looking to deploy Open RAN-based systems?
Yeah, Ray, I do think it actually is, if not the most important, at least one of the absolutely top priorities when we discuss with the operators that are today either involved in advanced trials or early commercial deployments, or operators that are in the consideration of moving forward with Open RAN. They all say system integration is a challenge that takes up a lot of their time and their thinking. What I would like to say is that when I talk about system integration, in the context of Open RAN, I see it as the complete effort needed to integrate, test, and maintain an Open RAN system, which is built of individual products and components. And that effort needs to address the combination of radio units, RUs, with CUDU software solutions that are running on a cloud orchestration solution, which in itself is running on a virtualized general purpose compute platform. So that is the actual system. And by the way, the system is then also complemented by operation and maintenance, RIC and applications eventually. And this challenge to kind of put it all together, validate it, and then maintain it is what keeps people awake, if I put it that way, how to best do that. And indeed, I had the opportunity also to talk some smaller, albeit advanced operators who don't have the same bandwidth as the main early adopters, the big operators that are engaged in Open RAN today. And they have all said to me that they need to see kind of an approach that gives them the confidence that the system integration is kind of under control before they can engage big time with Open RAN, because they don't have the resource or the capability to do it themselves in the same fashion as some of the early operators who started some years ago are able to do. And indeed, just to give an industry overall flavor to it, there was the Open RAN World Conference a couple of weeks ago in Berlin, which I had the opportunity to be part of. And this was clearly highlighted in one of the keynotes as well from one of the operators who's been in the forefront of integrating their Open RAN solution. And they kind of called out for a global approach to what they called Open RAN certification, which encompasses all those steps that I just mentioned.
Okay, thanks, Kristian. So a lot to consider there in the full systems integration process. What is the Telecom Infra Project doing to help operators in these regards?
Yeah, in fact, we see this as our key mission, if you like, to address in the Open RAN space that we are focusing on inside TIP. We did say in October last year at our Fuse conference in Madrid that we intend to build up an approach where we would look at how the incumbent vendors who have done this throughout the years, integrating, testing, and maintaining their own RAN solutions, how we could use that model, but translate that into a community-driven approach that also includes the broader operator vendor community, and then come out with a proposal. And that's exactly what we have been working with over the last 5-6 months. And we are just in the process of releasing a white paper that describes our take on this. And we are also working with a number of entities, meaning building up a kind of broad coalition, if you like, of different players in the industry, from operators to system integrators to lab partners, and of course the concerned vendors, in order to build up a process where we believe TIP could, through its community approach, drive this forward. So that's kind of our initiative, which we hopefully can launch even prior to our next Fuse conference, which takes place in October this year.
Okay. Now, alongside these efforts, there's been a lot of attention and focus on the development of blueprints or pre-integrated packages that operators can use to kickstart their processes. But might this kind of blueprint approach negate some of Open RAN's possibilities and impact the best of breed opportunities that Open RAN promises?
Yeah, that is a very valid question. And indeed, the vision for Open RAN is the possibility to mix and match and hence select the best of breed components and products for your Open RAN solution. And I do believe we should not give up on that vision, but I also do believe realistically in the near to midterm future that there is a need to focus on a reasonably sized portfolio of Open RAN solutions that would include the kind of enough of variety in terms of vendors, both on terms of the product, be it RU hardware, be it CUDU software, different combinations of hardware, compute platforms, and cloud orchestrations. But I think it takes a big effort to map and test these type of configurations with different combinations of the aforementioned components and products, and really match them to the different deployment scenarios that operators would plan for in terms of their Open RAN deployment. And typically you would look at what type of deployment scenario would include urban massive MIMO type of environments, or semi-rural or even rural deployments. And you would also look at the different transmission and redundancy schemes you as an operator want to apply to your network. And given the variety of scenarios, you need to focus on a limited number of configurations or combinations of those different components and products. Hence, I do believe there is a limit to what the industry is able to bring to the market, at least in the next couple of years. And hence, some sort of pre-integration or a process that enables to kind of make the right choices based on the priorities the operators have, the requirement combination that hopefully enables the vendor community to provide roadmaps that are matching with those requirements, that will lead to a limited set of combinations, at which in principle are different configurations of Open RAN that would be the ones that are deployed and also are picked up then by following operators for the first phase of Open RAN deployment.
Okay, yes, it's benefiting more than just the operators in terms of the ecosystem and getting things started, kickstarting these projects and tests and trials. So what more can be done then to help operators with their Open RAN systems integration strategies? Is there more that can be done at this stage?
Yeah, there is a lot more to do, obviously, and I would particularly point out the area of working with the scenarios that involve how to deploy Open RAN to so-called brownfield environments, meaning environments where we have existing deployed non-Open RAN solutions that are being used for all the existing services and maybe even recently deployed to cover 5G launch and so forth. Open RAN will be coexisting with traditional RAN solutions for the next 10 years. And I think it's really important we as an industry work on those scenarios, how practically Open RAN would be deployed in such environments, and that needs to be included in our thinking on the deployment scenarios, in how we test the solutions, certainly the Open RAN, but also Open RAN in combination then with the existing RAN solutions. And this particularly plays into how the whole operation and maintenance should be set up in such a way that an end-to-end RAN operation and maintenance framework can be used to ensure that the network performs, and in case there are failures or problems, they can be addressed in a consistent way. And I think particularly when we look from an Open RAN perspective, the innovation side, which includes RIC and XApps, RApps that are still in the development, I think it's important we define and also work out solutions on how that framework will interwork with the existing OSS framework of RAN through the SMO in such a way that important use cases which are applicable for the overall network, regardless if it's Open RAN or traditional RAN, for example, functionality to drive energy efficiency or do capacity management, how those functionalities can be deployed across the whole network in a consistent way, often also supported by automation and using routines and processes that are consistent for the operators. I think there's a lot of work to be done in that space that involves both product development, trials, testing, and probably also specification work.
Yep, a lot of fun still to come with the RIC, the XApps, RApps, and the SMO environments, and a lot for the Open RAN ecosystem in general to be thinking about, but all areas that are being addressed by many players across the industry, of course. So, Kristian, thanks very much for your updates and insights and for joining us today, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. It was a pleasure.